Yep, you got my invite, so then it should work out here. Unable to join.
Okay, I just now got the notification. It was
There we
delayed.
go.
It was delayed on my end.
Perfect. Then you just got to position your camera to however you see fit. And
Oh, so I gotta go live from this too. Be tricky.
all right, folks. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Bucks of America podcast. I am your host, Jeff Anso. I am currently streaming live on YouTube and Instagram. So go over there and give my guest a like and follow on his page, huntinggeardeals.com, and all of his social media aspects. I have Cameron Stover, the brainchild behind all of this here. And we're going to be talking about the ATA show, which is going to be literally next week. But also, we're going to catch up because he's had a very eventful season. I mean, your bonus son got it what, $2, right? Or was it
Yep,
$1?
he
Two,
killed his
right?
first $2. So he's never killed a deer until this year, and he was lucky enough to kill one in West Virginia and one in Ohio.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, he's got two states. He's more accomplished than I am right now.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Well, it's the nice thing about being a kid, though. It's like you have that flexibility doing when you have adulting to do. It's like you're not able to get everything you want done.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I wish I was hunting every state, not just one or two. So
Ain't
he's
that the truth?
he's had a fun season.
Yeah, exactly. So, how was his first experience with? Because he shot the first one in Virginia, correct?
West Virginia.
West
So we
Virginia.
live right on the Ohio River. So we're from West Virginia, but we live in Ohio. And his first experience was in hunting at all was last year, and he got to watch me shoot a full velvet buck in West Virginia. And this
Yeah.
year, in the same area, he got to actually harvest a buck. So it worked out pretty good. It was a really cool hunt, and he was pretty tickled. I mean, it was something that I think he had an interest in prior to. He'd been done a little bit of squirrel hunting, but he had never really had an opportunity to deer hunt. I mean, he's only 10 for starters. But he took a liking to it pretty quick. The biggest thing we did was buy a crossbow. And coming from a bow only county in southern West Virginia, I grew up like anti crossbow for a little bit. And
Yeah.
that's not like a bad thing to say, but like as I've gotten older and understand like the benefits of that, like I was all in when I had an opportunity to take my own bonus hunting. I went and bought a crossbow. I went and bought a bog death grip tripod. That way we could be steady and sure when it was time to take the shot. And it increased his confidence level that he could kill a deer when he pulled the trigger. And I had the confidence in him that he could do and perform the job necessary.
That's beautiful, man. That's awesome that he did. So then, with his experience, and so like, you we were going through the whole process on setting him up, right? Let's see
Yeah, so we went start from finish, bro. So setting the crossbow up from day one, he got to watch me sight it in, how quick
So
and easy that was.
we're getting some feedback in IG. Turn your volume down on your phone because people are hearing the echo.
Okay. Okay. It just keeps popping back up. It won't silence all the way.
Yeah, what you could do too is you can always go in and mute the microphone. I believe that's what able to get mine to work too.
All right. Somebody give us some feedback how that worked. Oh, I bet that's how it did it.
You think you got it to work?
I know I muted Instagram on my phone, so they may not be able to hear me other than the feedback coming through from your end. So that should work.
I think so too. I'm hoping so.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, so I'm waiting for other people to give us the feedback on that. Getting back to my question about your son and stuff like that. So, did you guys do a morning set for it? Like, how does he prefer to hunt? Does he prefer a morning or an afternoon hunt?
So he's scared of the dark. So luckily, like we didn't have a whole lot of hunts prior to this. So I've exposed him a little bit through squirrel hunting, like in turkey season. So this year I
Yes.
learned that early season in turkey hunting, he went with me and he was locked onto my arm and wanted to have a flashlight every step of the way. And just kind of getting him over that fear of the dark was a big hurdle. And we're not there yet. But like at the end of the day, he wants to be out of the tree stand, out of the blind, and be going to the truck before it gets dark. So that's a major hurdle that we're still dealing with. But luckily, um, on this particular hunt, like we didn't have to worry about that because he killed something. So we waited till dark, and actually we didn't have to wait till dark. We watched the deer drop, so it worked out pretty good on that side of it.
Okay, well that's fantastic. That all worked out then. So how did your hunt go in Kentucky?
Well, it was Ohio, so the
Oh, sorry,
Ohio
Ohio.
season, it went pretty. It was one of those situations like late season because he just killed it here in the last few weeks, and we basically we were hunting over bait. He wanted to go bait this particular farm that I've got leased up, and I didn't want to go. We went in after dark because he wanted to ride the four wheeler, and I did not. I wanted to go home. We went to like 3 different properties prior to that, putting different bait piles out for him. And then he knew this particular property, and he's like, I want to go there too. And I was like, it's cold. Let's go home. And he kept
Okay.
twisting my arm. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's go. Because it's the longest four wheeler ride, and that's all he cared about really. So we go and get it baited, and sure enough, like buck after buck starts showing up on that camera. And I signed him out of school early. I asked his mom, and I was like, "Hey, do you care if I sign him out of school early so we can hunt this evening?" She's like, "No,
Okay.
that's a terrible idea. You can't do that." So I went, "Okay." So I signed him out of school early. The long story short, I did it anyways, and because we had a pattern, we knew what was coming and going, and basically it was we had to beat the deer in, and we snuck in. I couldn't come home for him to take a scent free shower because I'm a little anal about the scent free and stuff like that, whereas some people
True.
aren't. So we stopped at my mom's house on the way, let him take a scent free shower, hopped in the truck, jumped on the four wheeler, made it to the blind just in time, got set up. And this ground blind it's not really a blind. It has no top on it. It's
Okay.
ripped all to pieces. The whole front is ripped out. So he gets there and he's like, "What is this? Like, you have a ton of ground blinds. Why are we hunting this?" So everything he'd seen was new and fancy and pretty, and this thing is just ripped and ragged. I said, "Listen, it's been here for 2 years." I said, "I killed a buck out of it a few years ago." I said, "And I think we're going to kill one this evening." So um, on the way to, I forgot this. This was the fun part. So both bucks he killed, he did his homework either going to the tree stand to hunt, or he did it on the drive there,
Smart.
or there. We were actually practicing math the day that he killed his first buck. I got downloaded a fifth grade math app on my phone so we could go through fractions and all that. So both days that he killed bucks were focused around school and homework during the hunt. So that was pretty neat. Like both of those, like still focused on school and still keeping his attention on the hunt as well. So that's a cool little thing that worked out for the both of us on that side of it. But we set up on the Ohio side of it, and it didn't take long. We started seeing deer. He fell asleep, so he's sitting in his nice little comfy ground blind chair.
Yeah.
I wake him up and I said, "Here's a buck." He's like, "Where?" I'm like, "Get on the crossbow." So he gets on the crossbow. It steps out. He shoots it. It falls over basically in sight. And that was the hunt. Like I made him wait till dark because I was hoping one would show up that I could shoot, and that never happened. But it ended up being about 120-inch 11 point, beautiful deer, 3.5-year-old deer, had just beautiful little rack. And the deer that he killed in West Virginia was actually an older deer, 4.5-year-old deer, and it has a really unique right side. It looks kind of like a little miniature elk antler. It's really, really deformed, a lot more mature deer. It was a very cool hunt on that one as well because we had a real bad wind direction and we chanced it, put out a little bit of calming scent, and deer after deer showed up. And once there's a couple deer in the field, all the other deer feel comfortable, so they don't come in with their guard up. And that's exactly what that buck did. He walked straight out of the wood line, directly in the middle of the field, and he was dead before he knew it.
Oh, perfect. You can't ask for a better scenario like that. So now with your calming spray, is it a spray? Is it a gel?
It's basically just some kind of basically like deer urine or something like that. Raw makes it, and they call it a calming scent, but it to me it just smells like deer pee. but they market different types of extra scent and stuff like that. But man, I have had a ton of success with that stuff, not necessarily like on scrapes or anything like that, just using it kind of like a cover scent. And I'm not the only person that's had it. I was actually turned on to it by a hunting buddy. And we've all probably got scents if it's legal to utilize in your area that you're comfortable with. But I've really enjoyed that calming scent. I've used a lot of deer urines and estrus scents, but that calming scent that Raw makes is something different. Maybe it's a confidence thing, like throwing your favorite fishing lure. You're going to cast it more. You're going to put it in more places to catch more fish. Same scenario potentially, but I know I've killed at least 3 bucks that I can think of with that calming scent out and covering me up on wind directions due to bad winds. So if it helps, it helps. If it don't, it don't. If not, it's always part of my hunting arsenal when I go out in the woods.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. I'm looking forward to getting back out here. We got less than a month here where I'm hunting out in Wisconsin to punch my tags. It's been like soon as Thanksgiving hits, it's nothing but gun seasons all the way up until the first of the year, and then after that, and it's open right back up. So this weekend, I have nothing planned. I am going to go out there from sun up to sundown and try to get myself a deer. I got a few spots where I've seen bucks and does at, so hopefully I'll be able to punch my tag because I've had a lot of good fun experiences. But man, I just couldn't. Either they were too young or too far, or just didn't have an accurate shot.
Yeah, I've had a tough season. Like my first weekend in West Virginia, I killed a beautiful 10 point. And my bonus son was with me for that hunt. Since then, I've had a few bucks on camera, but I've not been able to get off work or something like that in order to capitalize on it. But right now, I've got tons of cell cams out. I have nothing mature right now on camera, and I'm hoping that something shows up because I don't I don't have a whole lot of time left in the season because ATA, shot show, stuff like that.
Oh, you're going to SHOT Show too.
Yeah, first year. So
Oh, that's
me and my
exciting.
wife are going to Vegas for that one. So
You getting a
they say
booth,
it's
or
big.
are you a vendor then, or?
Nope, not a vendor. I'm just going there to basically market hunting gear deals and make new contacts. So on the archery side of it, I'm really feel familiar and comfortable with the brands and the products and everything that goes along with that. But with the guns and the optics, stuff like that, I don't really have a whole lot of experience with. So I'm looking to grow in that market because it's been so successful for my business. I would be shooting myself in the foot if I didn't do that.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't. I would do it too. I know my friends from RPG, Real People Giving Coffee. They're going to be there. They usually set up their booth right next to the John Wick Vault Company. I can't remember the name of the company, but it's not Liberty Safes, but they have developed a case that has a similar feel and design as if you were walking in the Continental. And the last 2 years, they've set it up there, and there'll be they've gotten a chance to meet like Chuck Liddell and a bunch of other celebrities that come through there. And last year we went live with them on scene there in the booth there for about a half hour or so, and it was a fun little conversation. Then I have another friend of mine, Al Quackenbush. He does the SoCal Bow Hunter, blog. And he's been on my podcast too. That was a 3-hour podcast. We were talking about reloading, and that was an education. I mean, he's very thorough in his practice of the process, but man, he is just wonderful guy to listen to and speak to. He'll be out there. He's gonna be out there all week long, and he's get to go out there and shoot all the guns and test all the ammunition. He's been writing his blog for I don't know almost 15 years. He's got quite a representation representation of himself, being able to go out there and write really good reviews and such. And he's just a downright guy. And if you ever chance to run past him, you can find him on Instagram and Facebook. You just type in Al Quackenbush or the SoCal Bow Hunter, and you'll be able to find him. But if you can run into him and talk to him, that'd be a great person to talk to, because it's like he writes reviews for products. People will send him out stuff, and he'll write very genuine stuff. So he would be a great asset to add to hunting gear deals or trucking gear deals or fishing. I don't know if he fishes a whole lot, but all the dealcompany.coms you have.
Yep. So I'm looking for some writers right now. What I've figured out is it's not cheap. I mean, it's an acquired skill, and it's something that's like I wasn't prepared to pay people to write. So I've done the gear reviews and basically got free product for somebody in return for the gear reviews. But I'm going to have to bring in some content creators and stuff like that, because what I've noticed in the last year. Like I had a successful year the last year, and this year was successful as well, as far as I'm concerned. But what I've noticed is like some of these bigger companies that I'm starting to compete with, like they're starting to mimic what I'm doing. And yeah, it makes you feel good. But at the end of the day, like there's only so you got two blog titles that are the same. Like somebody's outweighs mine usually if it's got a bigger brand associated with it. So being creative and growing that. So the content creation on my end's got to pick up. And one thing that I did to boost that this year was I just quit my day job.
You did? Congratulations. I know
Yeah.
on our last podcast we were talking about that was your main goal was to make this your full-time gig.
Yep. So I am on day 2 right now of being a unemployed or self-employed individual. I stepped away. I gave my notice back in November and said, "Hey, I need 2 months to get my feet underneath me with my new business because I bought another website. We probably haven't talked about that one yet, but a
I
lot
don't
of
think
email
so.
marketing and stuff like that. It's got a little bit more expenses with it, and it can be a lot. It can be a big asset to companies out there. So I'm looking forward to promoting that at ATA and SHOT Show and seeing what I can grow with that. And I'll have my own booth at the Great American Outdoor Show this year. So I've never done that. So that'll be fun.
Now, where's that at? Is that the one in Pennsylvania
Yep.
oh man.
Yep.
So did you get a booth for all, was it 11 days?
Yeah, the whole time. So I rented an Airbnb. I got a booth. Like what I don't have is anything to put in the booth yet. So I'm sitting there scrambling. Like I bought a sign. So I'm waiting for the sign to get here. But other than that, like I don't have that creative. I mean, my office decor. Oh no, my office decor is just deer. So like I'm not real creative when it comes to that side of things. So I may have to contract somebody to come help me set up a quality booth. But basically, I'm just there to promote hunting gear deals. I'm not selling anything. I'm going to do a big giveaway and do email signups. So make sure people get signed up on the daily deal email for hunting gear deals. And then I want to grow bucks, bulls, and bears, that email list as well. So I'll be combining those for a big giveaway.
Well, this is what it just gave me inspiration. What you could do is go there with the green screen. That's it. Just go with the green screen. And what you could do is you can, if people want to, before or after the show or before they get burnt out, one of the people from the booths that you support their product on one of your websites, you sit there and you have ask them to do like a 3-minute conversation, like, or
Yeah.
sell your product, and you can just do that. That could be your marketing right there, because then you can easily take that video, transfer it, and upload it on your social medias and stuff like that. But in the green screen, then you can drop their logo in there back there, and you'll be set.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
It's
Like
it's,
there's
it's
a
low
ton of
key.
vendors there. Like I could
Yeah.
just all day long just cycle people through and never even thought of that really. So
Yeah, especially if you get yourself, like, did you buy yourself a new 4K camera?
So I have one hanging up right here. It's a Canon R6
Yeah.
that was dropped out of the tree on the very first hunt of the season.
Yeah, we talked about it last podcast,
Yeah.
man.
So unfortunately, my lazy butt did not send it off to Canon to get fixed. So what I did go do, I got in a little pinch, and I was like, I'll go buy a new phone that's got a better quality camera on it.
Yeah.
I didn't go with the Samsung with a 100 megapixel, 100 times zoom or whatever, but I
Okay.
did go buy a new iPhone. So that'll help with the photos. So we'll see how it goes.
The nice thing is with their camera lens, like, you can record in a 4K format, and then you can go that route. But you just get yourself a tripod and just do it that way. I think that would be a good solution for you. It's low key, very low cost to get it all set up, and you just go and buy yourself a green sheet and call it good.
Yeah. Didn't even think of that, but I love it. That was great. So buying a green screen.
Yeah, because in this way, then you could be your first time doing it, and then you can get everybody. Because then the people I talked to you about just a moment ago, you can have them. Hey, like, do you mind coming over and recording 5 minutes or 10 minutes and stuff like that? And then by having people, like, you're talking to them, if you're able to project your voice, well, then people are gonna slow down. It's like, what are these guys talking about? I want to hear. Because
Yeah.
it's like when I was in at not the Deer and Turkey Expo, but when I was at the Open Seasons Expo there in the Dells, I was recording podcasts there. I did 3 or 4 there, and it was amazing how many people slowed down, standing on the outside, and just listening. Like, I had Travis Bigger on my podcast. We're talking about Bigger Outdoors with his outfitter down there, and I also had Lucky Sevens there. It was amazing how many people decided to come around and just start listening to us. And then when we shut it off, I was like, hey, it's like, I really like it. Like, it created a Q&A after we shut off the microphone.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like that's fantastic. So good news is I've already got an exhibitor list, so I could even schedule all this stuff out in advance.
Oh yes,
Of
definitely.
time frame.
Just do an email blast and stuff like that. Schedule up your times and such like that. Oh, dude, you got yourself set up, and then you can set.
Yeah.
You can set up. You can link it to a software that will just like, hey, these are all my times that I've blocked out. Do you think? And you just set it up from blank to blank, and you can do that. And then you can also have pre-written questions. So this way, then you keep it straight to the point, and you're able to explain them and do your elevator pitch.
Yeah, you're the man.
Yeah. Is it amazing though? It's like I just thought of that. It's like this would be perfect. It's low key, easy to set up, and you can get a whole bunch of people coming in there before and after because, it's a fantastic idea. Man, this. I love creating these simple little brainstorming sessions because I look for the easiest way possible to do something basic, but then you can turn around like the next year you can take these interviews and you can have these looping.
Yeah. Yep, you could loop that or just keep rolling with it because you could be that guy that gives extra exposure to their brand and stuff like that. So,
Oh, definitely. I have a friend of mine, Doug Gliverbean. He does a SmackDown Outdoor podcast, and he does live the fishing show there in St. Paul. It's like one of the bigger ones in the area for ice fishing, and he brings guests on, and they talk about the products they're bringing to the show, whether it be new or repeating guests and stuff like that. And he's been invited back every year since he did it, and it's been a very what's what I'm looking for, successful experiment.
yeah. And I've got my podcast stuff set up here that I haven't unraveled yet. So maybe I need to play with it.
There you go. Yeah, your day. You're gonna be coming on to day 3 of a self-made or an entrepreneur. So there you go.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I got to wake up again tomorrow, hopefully, and try something again. Try something
definitely.
new.
The best part is too. It's like, did you purchase a editing software, or are you just gonna go with something free like Audacity?
I've got the Photoshop or not Photoshop. I've got Adobe. Oh, crap.
I think it's Adobe Premiere.
Premiere. Yeah, I think I've got Premiere.
Okay, that's still a great software. It does have a steep learning curve on it, but
Yeah.
I don't know how they have their tutorial videos on it. I've been recommending friends that are looking to get into podcasting start with Audacity because then it's all free. On top of that, too, the amount of tutorials that are available are all free too. You can go online, you can pull them up and stuff like that, and how to tweak stuff, and it's a great entry way to do it. So this way you can cut your teeth on one project, and then when you decide to go to the next level, you can go from there.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's one of those things like I want to do, but at the end of the day, it's like, golly, it's a lot of time for something that's not generating money. Whereas I can invest that time creating content for my website that's going to produce money for years. So
Definitely. And the
I
best
gotta,
part,
I gotta
yeah,
do it though.
yeah, and the best part is too, it's like when you do since you're getting into podcasting, this is going to help drive traffic to your YouTube channel too as well by doing these conversations like this right here. Because now it's like when we're doing this podcast, I usually typically will because the nice thing you can go into the chapters after a video and you can actually go through and you can. What's what I'm looking for? You can actually add the channel link to it, so this way then you can talk back and forth. So after the episode, they can click on the link; it'll take you over to yours. So this way, then it's just a means of cross promotion. You can right now the algorithm has been liking the 10 to 15-second clips and just become consistent with that with the whole process. And now there's the new algorithm might be changing here in Q1 for YouTube, where they'll be looking at the longer form conversation between 3 to 5 minute clips and such.
Yeah, that's something I've got to get a lot better with. So I got invited to this, and I'm sure a bunch of people have, but I got an email the other day from Facebook that says, "Hey, we'll invite you to do the professional stuff so you can get paid." So I got all excited. And I was like, hey, I know I got a friend that's done it and they made a bunch of money. And I got to checking it out and stuff. I'm like, I'm not getting any more views. I was hoping they'd throw me into this algorithm and start boosting everything. So I put out a couple quick little videos to see if it would do anything, but I got to get more consistent with it, and stepping away from the full-time job is going to allow me to do that.
That is the biggest thing. There's a guy I follow on TikTok. Then he's been able to grow a couple of his channels up to 100,000. One
Wow.
was like 200 and some thousand, one was like 300,000 people. But he's got a very he breaks it all down and how you schedule step by step, and he's just willing to give this information for free and such. And I've shared to a friend of mine that does tactical outdoors. It's a grooming company for help people to get if they have a property and they want to get set up for whitetails. It's
Mhm.
what it all is. And I said him, hey, check this out. And he's been able to have really good success with his business on so far and all that stuff because I've seen him implement a lot of that stuff
Yeah.
to whether it be on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, I even simply doing gear reviews through YouTube, like I haven't put any effort into that for the last couple of years, and that's something I want to get set up and started for this year is do some digital gear reviews to go along with the written gear reviews that I've been accustomed to doing for years.
Oh, certainly. The one thing I've learned with when I'm rendering out my podcast via audio, make sure you have enough space in your hard drive. For some odd reason, it's like you will when you have the main file and you're doing all the tweaks and stuff like that, and as it gets bigger and bigger, and before you condense it, it will skyrocket up to 30, 40 gigs for some odd reason. Maybe it's just one of the side effects of or Audacity, but that was one thing that I noticed with Audacity when I'm in the process of adding and tweaking all that fun stuff is, oh, you're out of memory. It's like, what the French doors is going on here? So I had to be very mindful what I have on my hard drive. So I'm thinking my laptop that I'm currently talking to you, I need to go and actually upgrade that hard drive to a bigger one. So this way then I have that space, because right now I have a terabyte hard drive where whenever I'm done with stuff, I put it on there. So make sure, the biggest thing is make sure you buy like 1 or 2 additional terabyte hard drives. So this way you can back your stuff up, because, man, when you lose one, you're going to be sweating bullets. And then they got the cameras that allow you to have the dual SD cards.
Mhm.
That's something that you got to pay attention to as well. The cool thing is, like, I have a Canon EOS M200.
Yep.
Streaming 4K right now. That's what I'm talking to you on right now, and that's a fairly reasonable middle of the road. If all you're looking to do is a stream utility, that's a good way to do it instead of having these big ones, because you got to pay attention, because streaming units get extremely hot. So that's where we have on my other podcast with Dosed After Dark, we actually have a separate tower strictly designed for streaming, because when we did everything through my laptop, because for some odd reason the tower decided to fail on us, is that it gets extremely hot.
Makes
With
sense.
running all these processes and stuff like that. So you almost want to have a separate PC. You can do bare bones stuff like that, but it's like the biggest thing is like having a good video card, enough RAM, but you don't have to spend a whole lot on the CPU and stuff like that. Well, you do have to be mindful of that. I can always introduce you to my buddy Brady. He's a guru when it comes down to it. He used to work full time doing. Used to have Dosed After Dark Gaming, Dosed After Dark podcast, and then we also Overdose Crypto and stuff like that. So has all these different streams, and he's monetized everything, several thousand followers on everything. So, but he's got the technology backing for it, because he can always He can always tell you to go on to Tiger Direct, or what's the other one that you can go to for getting good PCs? You got Fry's Electronics, and then there's another one. Was it Egg something?
Oh, Newegg.
Newegg, there you go.
Yeah.
Because waiting on Newegg, because they're going to be getting rid of all of their old stuff, and they do these random flash sales, and that's a good way to pick up a streaming PC as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've been running everything off this MacBook Pro that I've had for the last couple of years, and honestly, that's been the best investment that I've made in my business, is just getting a quality laptop. And
That's true.
something I overlooked forever, because I always worked for somebody else and I got a free laptop. So I used to just run my business off my work laptop. And Mike, with the previous owner of Hunting Gear Deals, he kept telling me, he's like, you got to buy your own laptop, and just, it don't have to be a nice one. I was like, I'm good. I got a nice laptop for work. And then the company I was working for got bought out and I got laid off. And I was like, I got to have my own laptop now. So,
That is so
out,
true.
man.
That is so true. So now, is this your first year going to ATA?
No, I've been going for probably since 19-ish, 18-ish.
Okay. Oh, so you've been going. Well,
Yeah.
it's close by you, so it makes sense. Like, I'm
Yeah.
here being in Wisconsin. It's like that is a trip to plan around.
I love it. I mean, I'm a gear guy. So for me to just go there and look at all the new hunting products, I was enthralled just going. In fact, that was originally how I got involved with Hunting Gear Deals. I was like, yeah, you can pay me. It sounds great. And I'll just take me to the ATA show, because it's a private event. You're not supposed to be able to get a ticket if you're not part of one of these brands or marketing side of it. So I never got invited. And that's all I really wanted in the beginning, was just an invitation to go to the ATA show. And I was just a kid in the candy store for year one, just looking at everything. And then year two, you get your business cap on, you start following around, making contacts and communicating and stuff like that. And then couple years into it, they ATA's offering classes and different marketing stuff. So like I'm getting involved with that stuff to try to learn more to grow my business and schedule meetings with companies because they want to work with you and stuff like that. So like I've grown a lot just in the networking that I've been able to do there. And then the Badlands Film Festival is always a good time. I mean, it's really nice to hear everybody ooh and ah when they watch an arrow drop in into the rib cage of some big game animal or something like that. So you don't usually get that environment anywhere else other than at the ATA show at that film festival.
That's what I've been kind of searching for is an invite because it's kind of like one of the low key in, ambitions is to go to the ATA show, but it's like I haven't gotten an invite for it yet. So I don't know. I'm sure I could probably get a press pass. I'm not 100% sure because this is like come next year will be the first year to actually be able to financially be able to go and afford it and to have the time off to do it.
Yeah, do you have the time off this year? Like, is it something you could do this year?
Uh, no, because I just started a new promotion, so I'm currently in training for all that. So I didn't have the PTO schedule off. If I would have put it in November, I'll be able to go with an invite without any issue. But I didn't have any invites or anything, so it's like, well, I'm not going to push anything and then apply for new positions. So this week I just started a new position working in my new company where I'll be head of mobile units and with the VA because we do my company I work for deals like I've mentioned this in the past where we do compensation and pension benefits. Now our mobile units allows us to open up units or put these units in places that don't have the population center to be able to have veterans come in and take care of their compensation and pension exams and such for whether there be a increase or the first time getting seen for that whole process.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty appreciative of the whole process. My mind's been a little spent for the last 2 days. 'Cause there's been a lot of information being thrown at me, but everything will come through. The unique thing is there will be travel involved too, so we'll see where all that comes into play. Most of the colleagues I've been talking to, not a whole lot of traveling, going to be involved with this particular branch of our market manager umbrella. So we'll see what all happens.
Well, if you do get to travel, make sure you get the hotel rewards points.
Yes.
Take advantage of that to the fully. And if they'll let you pay for it on your own card and you're responsible with credit cards, which I think you are, go ahead and get the credit card so you'll get like 10x points. And
Yes.
by the end of it, you'll have free vacations every year. So that's how mine's been set up for the last, I don't know, 6, 8 years. I've had
Mm-hmm.
basically a free hotel stay wherever and whenever I want to go. And those hunting trips are a lot cheaper because of it.
Isn't that true? No, we went over that actually today, and we actually have a company card that will be assigned to us. So I can still do all the bookings and get all those points like through
Yeah.
Delta, Hilton, and so on and so forth. But that's it. I won't be able to use a credit card for that because I get a stipend per day for eating out and such.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. I mean, most people don't want to put that kind of money on their own card and stuff like that, but you can still get those rewards points. They'll still stack up. They just don't stack up quite as fast.
That's exactly right. But I'm just following the company policy and what they want to have done with all that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because I've only been, I've only been streaming here now for about 3 months or so, but I've been running the same thing too, is like not consistently posting, and it's weird on how it is. Like I was talking to my buddy Brady because he does all the YouTube postings for when it comes down to YouTube, and he does the quick 10 to 13 second videos, and he does them consistently at 3 o'clock, and we'll get anywhere between 5 to 7,000 views and stuff like that. So we've been really cranking through there, and so it's just getting our watch time up because we're almost to 1,000 followers or subscribers on that platform.
There you go. Hey, it adds up, man. It doesn't take long, and then it just keeps escalating up and up and up.
Mm-hmm.
Get all these little revenue streams, and they start adding up.
Oh, we got somebody from best regards from Kazakhstan, so that's pretty cool.
Wow. What's
Yeah.
up?
That is the nice thing about being on Instagram too. It's like we'll get random folks that drop in, and since there's people on the stream here, make sure you go down and drop a like and a follow on my YouTube channel, and also likewise with Cameron's here. So this way open up a tab, so this way we can get our streaming hours up, so we can get monetized because that is the goal for 2023.
There you go. Set those goals early, and you can work to achieve them.
Oh yes, that's exactly right. Now with ATA, are you opening up a booth, or are you just going up there because of?
Yeah, I don't have a booth, so like I don't think I could afford to have a booth. Like a lot of the companies are backing out of ATA show and stuff because it's so expensive just to be
Really,
there.
what is the price tag on a booth?
I've heard six figures for some of the bow brands like Matthews and Hoyt and stuff like that. That was
Wow.
the pre-COVID numbers. So what's the truth behind it? I don't know. But at the end of the day, like some companies don't have to go there. Like if I'm a dealer, like I know what brands I already want.
Hmm.
Now I want if I'm a new brand, of course I want to go check. I want to go put my product in front of you. But if I was a Matthews or a Hoyt or something like that, you're coming to me. I don't have to go to you and try to convince you to buy my product. You're coming because I've got a huge share of the market, and then you want to capitalize on it with your business. So it doesn't really make sense for those big brands to be there. And when that happens, it opens up the floor to new, smaller companies, and hopefully will make things more affordable. So like companies like VIP Archery, they don't have to keep investing thousands and thousands of dollars each year. Maybe that price will kind of drop down a little bit, and that'll kind of help them out as well. Like those guys, I've watched them grow, even their logo designs, stuff like that. Like they've made leaps and bounds from when they first started going to ATA to where they were at the last pre-COVID year.
Oh yeah, they've Matt's been doing a great job. Matt and Cindy, the founders of the whole brand and such, and like I've had him on my podcast several times, and he's a self-taught aerodynamic engineer. So he,
Wow.
he's one of those type of guys he's a living proof that if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish pretty much anything. And he's part of the older generation where the cell phone is not his what's what I'm looking for. No, he's not drawn to it. He's wants to be tinkering, wants to be doing with himself with his hands and stuff like that, being able to be more proactive with it. That's what it's a different type of atmosphere between the different generations, between the ones that are always on their phones to the older ones where they want to tinker and do stuff with it, but also still have to be connected to society.
Yeah, I mean, my phone, I mean, it doesn't leave my hip, and it's been like that ingrained in me with my real job and stuff like that. But now I can pick up my phone and run a business. I can log into the back end of my website and start posting deals from the tree stand. So it works out pretty good.
Yeah, I know. I was on there today. I was just on there today talking, looking at trail cameras. So like you got the oh, what is it? What's the top? I can't remember. Is it Bushnell? I think it's the Bushnell is the number one deal that you have on top there, and then wild game cameras and a bunch of other ones too there. So I'm like usually on there about once a day looking for good deals because this past Christmas, man, I couldn't believe like the price tag that some of these guys were giving for their 45 pistols, like $300 for a 45 cal,
Yeah, I
1911.
mean, I was really impressed with prices this year. Like last year, people didn't really want to come down. Like the sales just weren't as good. So I was kind of expecting that trend to continue. But like Black Friday and like postseason sales, like they've been really good. Like some of the best prices that I've seen from major retailers like Kuyu, like the biggest sale they ever had was this year. So like I've been really impressed. Like I expected a big drop in the market. Like but it's been pretty good. Like looking at the trail cameras and stuff like right now, one of my buddies actually texted me, is like, "Hey man, we're looking to buy some non-cellular trail cameras. Can you help?" So I spent all morning looking for trail camera deals through all the different affiliate companies that I've got, and I've got posts scheduled. I'm looking at right now. There's 16, there's 25 trail cameras basically popping up in the next week because I can schedule those out as long as those deals stay active. Some of them are really good. Some of them are like 40, $50 off. Some of them are $25 for a camera. So if you want to buy a bunch of burner cameras, now's a really good time
Oh
because
yeah,
everybody's got something on sale. And if you want to buy some the higher end stuff, right now is probably not the best time until they get the new product launches starting at the ATA show. And the smarter, larger retailers will start getting rid of stuff now because you'll start seeing them discontinuing stuff.
oh yeah, definitely. Like even if you go on to like Lancaster Archery, they're going through and getting rid of all their old bows and stuff like. So if you want to pick up
Yeah.
one of their nice new, one of their last year models of Hoyts or Elite or PSC or Bowtech, they're some of them are dropped anywhere between $200 to $300 off the bow. I know some of the Hoyt competition bows, some of them are almost $500 off.
Yeah. I mean, there's some markup on that side of it. So, like, And at the end of the day, nobody's buying a brand new bow that was last year's model for the same price as this year's model.
For
So
sure.
you have to sell those closeouts. The only problem is when you're dealing with companies that have MSRPs without their permission, you can't move that product. So Lancaster, when they're doing online, some of these online sales with bows get real difficult. It's easy to sell those to inside a shop when nobody's looking and drop the price, like, or I'll throw in free product in order to make sure that they know that I'm selling this product for a certain price. So you can wheel and deal there, but when you get some stuff online, it makes it a little bit more difficult sometimes because of the MSRPs. I know back in during Black Friday, I got in trouble. I got my hand slapped from one of my affiliates because they had a 20% off coupon code for everything on their website. Well, when I'm looking at products that don't go on sale, like HHA, Carter releases, tethered stuff, all this stuff that you can save 20% off, you can't sit there and say, like, here's a 20% off coupon for this product because it's not the way it's marketed. But here's a 20% off site-wide coupon code, and they actually could sell some high-end saddle hunting gear, high-end archery sites, stuff like that. So you got to be really careful with online sales because you can lose that product in your inventory. So even me on my end, when I'm promoting that, like, I've got to be courteous of who I work with in order to promote those sales. And I sometimes get ahead of myself and I'm like, whoever gets a 20% off coupon code to buy a Carter release. It never happens. So like that was
Rarely.
huge for me. Like I was wanting to pump stuff like that, and it didn't take long for me to get my hand slapped.
Yeah, you don't know until you try, and that's the worst part. But at least it's just one of those common courtesies. At least hopefully the next time they're gonna be rolling this stuff out, it's like, give me a heads up, please, or an email to prepare for it.
Yeah, they did. They talked to me about it. They changed the policy like the next day. It's like, oh, here's the new policy. I'm like, I'm the guy. I'm the guy for the safety meeting. I'm the reason why we're having it. So I've been there.
Oh, that's funny how that all works out. So with your goal behind, so when you go to ATA, then since you've been there going for so many years, then is this a networking thing for you for this year, or is this going to be trying to get people to like looking for content creators?
So for me, my first goal is I go straight to the new product area.
Okay.
So I want to know what is going to be new to hit the market. So I'll run through, and they kind of showcase all this together in one spot. So I'll run through that area and I'll start video and taking photos of these products. And there's some things like some of the trail cameras, I mean, it's the same camera they had last year. It's just in a different camouflage pattern or something like that. Arrows,
Yeah.
like there's not a huge change in technology, but occasionally you see a product and you're like, A, why didn't I think of that? Or B, that's really cool. That's different. I want to go look for that product or that company. Or you see new brands and you start seeking those out. And then the next side of that, once you get through the new facets of the industry and what's hitting the market, you move over towards networking with the marketing departments. So with me, if I'm going up to your booth, I'm going to, okay, who handles your marketing? That way I can talk to them. Like, Hunting Gear Deals can offer you this. I have this kind of email following. I have this kind of website traffic. Can we work together? And I don't sit there and try to give a big speech. I'm basically exchanging information, and then I'll shoot you an email later on because it is tough. Because if there's for every one of me, there's 10 more people trying to do the same. And it's hard to believe somebody when they're looking you eye to eye and say, oh, you can really do that for me and you can sell this product for us. Great. Here's a freebie. People don't do that. So I go back and I send analytics in and say, this is what I feel comfortable with in promoting and things like that. And there's some products and companies out there that I just avoid because I don't want to necessarily promote those products or things like that. So once you're there and you can get your hands on it, you can kind of recognize like, yeah, that brand's not going to be around forever. So I'm just going to stay away from them.
Yeah, I gotcha. We ran into. You can see that when you go into the those expos and such, and what they're going to be like. You kind of gauge and like, is a product really going to take off? Like I was talking to my buddy Jeremy Fisher, who runs the Toxon app, and he's not going to the ATA this year. Oh, as far as I know, he's not going, but because he just is trying to just trying to keep everything at home. But he makes the Toxin app, and that's all that. All that is just a place where people can go and download the app, and it's is a driving force to put boots in shops and to get people at the fields, the archery events and stuff like that. And he's been growing it nationwide. And he's got a beautiful vision for it. But him and I were discussing about the price tag of bows, like because you have Hoyt and
Yep.
what is it? Hoyt came out with a $2,000 bow. Expedition just dropped their bows yesterday. They haven't came out with a $2,000 bow, and it's almost like they're driving sales to crossbows because when you look at that $2,000 price tag and you add in a sight, a stabilizers, your release. Now I'm talking brand new, looking to get into it, buying everything for the first time. You're looking at over $3,000 because you're not going to buy cheap arrows and stuff like that. And
Right.
for us, we've been hunting for a while, so it's like, well, I'm just going to transfer these accessories to this one. But there are guys out there that will buy a brand new setup for that particular bow, and it gets expensive, man. Where you can go and pick up a crossbow, a reasonable one for $1,000, and
Yep.
walk right out, sight it in, few bolts, and you're ready to go hunting. Where archery, it's like it's a whole discipline, but man, it's like that's a lot of money coming up there. Even in like nobody wants to go at the True Grillo site because nobody wants a cheap Chinese stuff, and it's just we want quality over quantity.
No, you're exactly right. And like the ATA show provides me that opportunity to go look for those products and to shoot those bows. So, like, say I've got a brand new top of the line carbon bow and I've got a aluminum riser bow. It's got all the same components on it. The only thing different is the riser.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are my benefits of carbon over aluminum? Warmth and a little bit of weight. That's about, and supposedly the strength of the bow. I mean, and you're seeing carbon bows hit from Elite. PSE's got a carbon bow, and who
Mm-hmm.
knows who else is going to have one at the ATA
Yeah,
show.
Bowtech has a one,
Yep.
Expedition has one, but they're $1,600, man. It's like you buy one HHA site and you're putting yourself at $2,000 right there for that one site.
Absolutely. And you can price yourself out of the market, but at the end of the day, like there's still people out there willing to pay for it. So as people
Mm-hmm.
continue to pay for it, bows are not something that you need every year.
No, they
Like
don't.
I can't tell you the last time like I was that guy. I was buying 2, 3 bows every year, brand new. Like I think one year I think I bought 4 brand new Hoyts.
Wow.
2 or 3 of them were carbon. I bought one for somebody else. Like I had a ton of money in bows, but I was that guy. Like I had to have the newest and greatest. And as I've gotten more experienced, and it's not like I'm still making money. Like it's not that I don't have the money to buy. It's like, why not just go buy last year's used model for $700 that's fully loaded, flip the accessories, make a couple $100, put my own accessories on it, or continue to use what I've always had.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the same quiver for the last probably 10 years on the bow that I've used each and every year because I bought something expensive. It lasts, and I take care of it. But I've not chased that new bow feel. Um, but I do have a new bow on the way. Um,
What did you decide with?
so with the new company that I bought, it came with a partnership with Matthews, and I picked up their new line,
Oh,
uh,
their phase
the,
fours.
the new Phase 4. So I've got one on the way that should be here right before the Great American Outdoor Show.
Sweet.
So that is actually going to be the giveaway, one of the giveaways for the Great American Outdoor Show. I'm going to give away one of those Phase 4s.
Sweet. That's a beautiful. That's going to be a beautiful. Is it going to be fully loaded, or are you or the person that's getting it to customize
Unless
it?
I can do some networking or something like that, it's probably going to be bare bow, but you never know. Somebody may want to come around and be like, I want to have my sight on that bow when you give it away. So it has some dual promotion because it's not tied to Matthews. They didn't say, hey, give it away for this. It's an earned product that I've already earned basically. So it's either I can accept payment or I can accept product. I needed the product for the giveaway for the attention on the booth. So that works out better in my favor. So that's where I'll be going with that.
So the booth did you do both for ATA or did you do both booth for Shot Show?
Great American Outdoor
Oh,
Show
great. There we go. Sorry
in
about that.
Pennsylvania.
It's been one of those days where I'm fried, so it's like I'm trying to keep everything straight. Now, so speaking of that, what is a price tag? You don't have to divulge, but on average, what is a price tag for the Great American Outdoor Show for? Was it 11 days this year? 12 days?
I think my booth, and I got a small one. I got like the smallest booth you can get, but I got it in the right spot. And I think it was $1,500 for the booth, plus you got to pay for either lodging, either hotel or Airbnb. I went cheap and got a 2 or 3 mile out single bedroom Airbnb. It cost me like $600 or $700 for that
Hmm.
time frame, which I thought was a great deal.
That's a great deal
Um,
for 10 or 11 days.
yeah. So once I get that side of it, I'll have money in the booth and the product. So I bought a couple mannequins. So I'll have a Sika jacket and a Kuyu jacket, and that'll be like part of the giveaway as well. Let somebody pick whatever they want. So just at the end of the day, like I just got to get my name out there. Correction, not my name, but the business, and get it in front of more people. Like honestly, if I could just send an email out to everybody that went to the show, I just assume do that rather than go to the show, because I don't feel like it's worth my time. But I needed to take this gamble this year and see how it's going to shake out.
Fair.
I will judge that based off of what I gather in emails. So
Hmm.
do an email sign up for the giveaway and go from there. Really hadn't got very creative thinking about the green screen and working with actually companies there. So that's a new unique facet that could gain a lot of attention to the business that I hadn't even thought of. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Because then that will be drive content for your Instagram, your Facebook, your YouTube, stuff like that. And you just hashtag it properly and go from there. I use TubeBuddy to help me with my SEO to try to optimize that. It's a free service, but the nice thing is like if you see a video you like, and when you have it streaming, it'll actually display what they like their hashtags, stuff like that, and how they all rank in the spectrum of stuff like that. Because this way you're just being more and more efficient, so you're hitting those 3 to 4 thousand views for a video.
TubeBuddy for hashtags. I never
Yep.
heard of it.
Yeah, TubeBuddy is something that my buddy used, and he told me about it, so I use it too as well. But the nice thing when you go through it and you click on a video, let me grab my YouTube. Oh, no, let's go this one here.
Hmm.
Got to actually go to YouTube itself. And the nice thing is the TubeBuddy is a plugin that you download and it'll actually install on your browser, and you're able to use keyword search for that aspect and all that, and then you can learn on all the other. Let's see, you get your analytics with it too, SEO Studio, tag lists. It provides a lot of. It provides some stuff for free, but you can upgrade too as well to provide you more details on different things, and it's just a great way to keep track of it. Like I've like clicked into a video right now that is Tom McDonald's Ghost, and it brings up all the social media. Like it talks about how many likes he has on his Facebook, which is over 100 some thousand upvotes, how many subscriptions, how many subscribers does he have to his channel, and how many views he has for his videos and stuff like that. And it breaks all that fun stuff down. And then it also has a best practices look too, where it talks about high risk, and it has 7 different options on there. So this way you're able to, it shows you like if you hit all these things, you're going to have a higher result for it. And then it also tells you about how he tagged it as well.
Hmm.
So it's like it talks about Tom McDonald new song, Tom McDonald reaction, Tom McDonald fake woke, and this is all of his hashtags that he has in there. And the nice thing is with the process with YouTube, it's limited to how many characters you have. So because when he threw it Eminem, MGK, Token, Hospin, like a whole bunch of different things that I wouldn't have ever thought about, like Upchurch, Adam Calhoun, and all these different hashtags that he went with it. And so that's what TubeBuddy will do for you after you have it downloaded to your browser, and they also have an app and such. So they've done a really good job of that's what I'm looking for, advertising and streamlining the whole process and such.
Yeah, I'll have to check. I went to their website. I'll check it out and watch some videos on it once we get off here.
Oh, for sure, man. Now with the SHOT Show, you said this is going to be your first one. I've only seen videos and stuff like that and things on it. It's supposed to be epic. Are you going to go out and test the new firearms? Do you have to be invited for it?
I don't know if I'll be doing any of the testing. It's more for that side of it. It's just going to be meeting companies.
Okay.
Basically, I'm just there for shock and awe. Like it's going to take a while to get your bearings, and then just start exchanging information, contact information with their marketing departments, and then following up later on. Like year one for a show like this, I'm not going to try to do too much. Like if I was going to ATA show for the first year this year, I wouldn't be out there trying to shoot bows and stuff like that in my line of it. Same thing with SHOT Show. I'm not going to go out there and try to shoot guns because I want to build relationships. Find a few companies. You can't build a relationship with everybody, but there's companies there like Hawk Optics and stuff like that that I know I can build a relationship, Vortex, stuff like that, that will help me in the long run. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm looking for companies that I can work with long term
Hmm.
and starting to build that relationship, put a face with a name sometimes from the emails. And it's kind of just for fun. Like I'm not a gun guy. I've got guns. I shoot guns. I literally just went to Field and Stream and bought a ton of ammo.
I see that.
Yeah. So like I've got what I need. What I don't have is the in-depth knowledge that I would have when I picked up a bow and shot it. So if I can find those people to educate me a little bit and work me through that, like that will greatly benefit me in the future. And if SHOT Show maybe not something that I benefit from this year and I don't go back because it's expensive. Like ATA show, I can hop in a truck, drive, grab a hotel. I don't have $1,000 in the whole week, counting food and everything.
Hmm.
SHOT Show's different. SHOT Show, I've got several grand in already for hotels and flights and crap like that. Like it's not cheap when you're going and making it a vacation with your wife and all this stuff too. So SHOT Show may not be always in my future, but
Yeah,
I
it's one
want
of
to
those
see
things
what
where
it's like.
if I was going to SHOT Show, I'd look for a hotel out in Laughlin, which is about, I don't know, 45-minute, hour drive away. Get a hotel there and drive there. Because the best part about being in Las Vegas or that area, there's no snow, so you can just drive out there and drive back and forth. It's all flat territory. It's nothing over the top. But you're going to find cheaper stuff there. There's hotels and casinos, but you're not spending that $300 or $400 a night on the hotel on the strip.
Yeah, it's not. It's you can definitely spend like $1,000 a night on something stupid, but there's so many deal sites and stuff like that. If you're smart, you can get a hotel for $150 a night, like in one of the casinos or something like that. Like, I think I've been to Vegas two other times and talk about driving. So funny story. Wasn't funny at the time. Flew out to Vegas for a John Jones UFC fight.
Okay.
He was supposed to fight in Vegas, had tickets, had a hotel booked right beside the fight where it was supposed to take place. Get to Vegas, the fight gets moved to Los Angeles. We had to buy new tickets. We had to rent a car. We had to drive there the day of the fight. And then I had to drive all the way home because we were stupid and didn't want to do that. So it made for a mess during that time frame and made for a very long day. And I just assume never drive at Vegas ever again. I just assume walk wherever I go because it was 10 hours of driving to go to the UFC fight because 5 hours down, 5 hours back. Everybody was asleep in the vehicle on the way home, and I was just trying to stay awake on those long, dreary straight stretches with weird little solar panels on the sides of the road everywhere you looked.
Oh man, it is something. When I used to live in Phoenix, my cousin was stationed there at the base there, so I went up there. I don't know 4 or 5 times a year to hang out with him while he was stationed there before he got shipped out to Korea for a year. And that trip between Phoenix to all the way up there, like I got to the point where I had it down to a science. Like I wouldn't leave Phoenix until like 10 o'clock at night because the last stretch to getting through not Goodyear, but over through by Peoria, and you're making your way up to get out of there to get up to the Mogollon Rim and such. If you're still driving during the daylight time and it's rush hour, it's like it has an extra hour and a half, 2 hours of just stop and go traffic. So it's like I told him, I was like, I'll probably be in town about 2 o'clock in the morning just to be on the safe side. So a story was, I think it was Christmas Eve of 2006 or 2007. I'm driving on up there and I'm going 80, 90 miles an hour in my truck. And all of a sudden, lights come up behind me. It's like, fuck, there's no way I'm going to talk myself out of this. And all of a sudden, he just flies right by me. Just zoom, just gone. Just gone. It's just like, wow. I was like, the heart pumping, adrenaline going. It's like, a ticket like this will get your vehicle impounded and make your life a little more difficult.
Yeah, especially if you're from out of town and stuff like that, and
Yeah. Well,
driving
I
at
was I was
30 in
still
the
in
morning.
Arizona at the time, but it's like when you're out there, it's like literally in the middle of nowhere between there and when you get to Kingman.
Yeah. So I've never been to Arizona, but hopefully I can make it out there, maybe chase some elk or something.
Oh man, that would be the way to go. I want to go out there and go check out PSE's factory down there in Tucson. You have AAE there in Flagstaff area. You got was it Ruger over in Payson
Yeah.
too. So there's a lot of companies all out there that make the trip well worth it. And plus, it's absolutely gorgeous to drive down there, stuff like that. So it's just one of those things where it's like you almost want to land in fly into Albuquerque and just rent a vehicle so you can see all the sites because there's a Highway 60. And I only recommend taking them with as a vehicle or a truck, but do not take a trailer down it or anything like that because the hills are ups and downs. You're talking 15% grades,
Wow.
and if you're driving with a camper, you're never gonna let your foot off the brake because
Huh.
it's like because bad things happen. Like there's a lot of spots on that highway that don't have guardrails, and when you look over the side, there's dozens of cars, if not because they've lost control and they just launch right off there. And the state doesn't want to monkey with it, trying to pull them out because you either have to bring in a crane or a helicopter to pull them out. So it's just a junkyard down there, probably a
Huh.
graveyard too, because it's
Yeah.
bad things have happened.
Yeah, I would be surprised, like with the environmental implications of oil and gasoline, that they would leave them there.
That's what you'd think too, but man, it's just way too expensive to bring them in there and drive them out. There's a few spots where you can pull over and you can look down and you can see why they don't do it because at the bottom of the ravine, it's literally a pit.
Hmm.
So there's no way to come up from the underneath it or behind it coming through it. It's like you're all wrapped in there. So it is a cluster. But I think they must find that there must not have any adverse reactions to it up there, or they must have. It's tough to say. Things may have changed since I've been through that area because I haven't lived in Phoenix since 2009. So they may have changed that regulation there. But that's one of the things that you'll never see on there. It's like seeing somebody pulling with a camper or a trailer and something like that because you're going to be hating life because if you don't have fresh brakes and you're pulling a trailer, you're going to
You want to eat it.
yeah you'll eat them raw.
And
And
then,
there's
yeah.
a and there's that one point in time where they've actually made it large enough where it's a rest area, so you can stop and you can let your brakes cool down because you get so hot because you're just going down and going up and just going back and forth.
Huh.
You don't want to go too much faster than 55 because you'll there's turns and stuff like that. You go through everything. It's a beautiful trip if you're on a bike. Oh
That's what I was thinking. Like, it
yeah.
sounds like a great place for a crotch rocket.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. There's bikes that go up and down and stuff like that. I had a buddy of mine that years ago went down. He started in Globe, Arizona, and he longboarded down, and he longboarded for about 7 or 8 miles just on a longboard, just because it's just, that's how long the downhill track is. So a little risky, but he managed to pull it off, and he's still alive, so he's still walking on 2 feet.
Yep. So yeah, I'm not a skateboarder or longboarder. So last time I was on one, I got a trip to the hospital with road rash from my head to my toes. So I just said never get back on one.
Yeah, nope. I don't do a whole lot of things on that aren't in four wheels or have at least have a roll cage.
When I have to plug my phone in a little bit, it's dying quick.
Yeah, that is the thing about you Instagram streaming on there. It does eat up your battery quite quickly. But we've had a lot of people come through and swing by and say hi, and so that's which is always pretty cool. And hopefully, while you're out there, you can check out what is it? Who's going to be out there? No, the bow hitch is going to be out there. You also have bow spider's going to be out there. I mean, pretty much anybody out there is going to be there. And it's like those would be two cool guys to sit down and have a conversation with. Armando is a great dude. Both of them have been on my podcast, but those would be guys that like, hey, like right now, Mondo is doing a pay it forward or a random act of kindness, and
Seen
maybe
that.
he could possibly see if you want to put a bow hitch on that bow you're giving away. I don't know. Well, actually, no, that's ATA. I'm not sure if he's going to be out there for the Great American Show there.
Yeah, I remember talking to him not well, I don't think it was last year, but year before last at the ATA show, and that's where I first met him. Nice guy, nice product and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see where that company's at today. And
Well, he's
then
actually going to be debuting a product there. I can't talk about it because it's like he
Right.
sent me one. I can't talk because we're live right now, but we can talk about one. I shut everything off. But he's
All
going
right.
to be debuting a product out there that he sent me to try out and such. And it's a dual purpose product, which is pretty badass. And it's going to be perfect. It's going to be fitting for it. But he's not going to be at SHOT Show because he's like it's like $1,500 for a prorated rate for like the first 2 years, and after that it goes up to $3,000 for a SHOT Show booth, and it's like it's pretty expensive.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, if you don't have an extensive product line that you're expecting to be put inside of a lot of retail shops, like it's not really worth it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Then also new thing to the podcast. Like I'm wearing a Lakewood shirt. I recently back it was I think it's October. They Lakewood opened up their applications to accepting for their ambassador program. So it's like I had my buddy, myself, Baranowski, and then Doc. They both say, "Hey, you should go and apply for this." It's like, sure, okay. I put it in there, put all my prereqs in there, and everything I've been doing, all my accomplishments, and put in my link tree. So this way, it's a great way to find all my sponsors and all my social medias to be able to get a hold of me and find my stuff. And then in December, found out that I got approved.
Great.
So
Congrats.
yes, which is pretty sweet. I'm really excited about it. So I got some new gear, some new swag and stuff like that. I've been using Lakewood products for a couple of years now. So I bought their product before I got the ambassadorship, and their product is just phenomenal for it. I really like their boat cases. I have two of them. I have one that's their 46-inch double boat case,
Yep.
and the reason why I went that big is that I have a 30 or a 34 axle bow, but then again when I go out hunting or anything, I can put everything into one bag. So I can put my hunting clothes in there, I can put my boots in there, my binos in there, the whole nine. And then I got Rut Holsters, which I need to have him on my podcast. He makes Molly holsters, stuff like that, and I throw my
Mhm.
pistol in there the whole nine because when you're hunting in Wisconsin, you never know when you're going to have a bear come on to you. Like I was telling you that where I was hunting, not even 40 yards, a few days later, mama bear and two cubs come strolling through right by my camera. It's like, well, good thing I carried a gun because it's like I got I actually grabbed my wife's magazine. It's 21 rounds, so it's like, well, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna go down shooting.
Yeah. I mean, most of the times, like the bear encounters that I've had that were sketchy were usually a young boar, like 2, 3 year old boar. Like even sows with cubs, like they'll let you know they're there. They'll pop jaws and act a fool, but
Hmm.
their goal was always to get their cubs away.
Yeah, exactly. That's my
But
always thoughts too. And
yeah,
there's also wolves and big cats as well. So but there's always a side thing because you never know how a mama is gonna act when there's somebody in the area there. Did you ever see that video from Brian Austin with he had a super sow where he had a sow and five cubs come walking down?
no, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
So if you go on his on Get Fit or I think it's Beast Mode Outdoors. If you go to his Instagram or my Instagram, it has a video of him up in a saddle on public land where he's just up there and all of a sudden he just hears his. You could hear it clear as day. He's sitting there up in tree stand, 20 feet or not tree stand, but a tree saddle, and all of a sudden here comes Mama and five cubs. It's like a parade coming through, the leaves around and stuff like that. So it's like it's pretty much needless to say, it's like your hunt's pretty much done because I don't think any deer are going to be walking around after they smell all of that.
Nah, that deer pretty much will steer pretty clear of them. Like
Hmm.
I give you an example. I was hunting this deer. We called it ended up getting the name Dagger because he ended up getting this weird little kicker. Come, actually, I've got a shed to him laying up here somewhere. Um, yeah, he was beautiful, mid 130s, 10 point. He's coming down the hill. I'm 40 yards from him. He's facing me. He's right behind the doe, and you hear. I'm like, what the heck is that? Turn around. There's a bear down the hill, like 60 yards, and he's going away. Well, that deer just stops and he's watching. He just backs up, walks away. I never got a chance to kill that deer. I hunted that deer for like 6 more years. Crazy buck that was just way smarter than I was. But I watched that bear walk. The deer ran away. I watched the bear walk down the hill. I got my grunt tube out and I go, bleh, bleh. I got that bear's attention. I hit again. That bear walks from 99 yards. I can still remember hitting him with a Bushnell rangefinder, and he goes all the way to the base of my stand. And I shot him at 20 yards. Like I may be the only person you ever have on a podcast that I said that I grunted in, took a deer grunt, a buck grunt, and I grunted in a bear to the base of my tree. He was so pissed off, like you could hear every step, every breath, and he got to 20 yards, and I drilled him. The first bear ever killed.
Oh, so so did you have a bear and a buck tag?
Yeah, so West Virginia, you can kill two bears in multiple counties for only $10 if you're a resident. It's one tag. You
Oh,
can kill up to two bears, and it's really cheap. Now, if you're non-resident, it's a couple $100, but we have a bunch of them. I think in that general area, I think I'd killed 4 bear with a bow, and usually always during November during the rut, if you got an acorn crop, because it's a big acorn flat, so a lot of animals funnel through there, and that they'll come in and you shoot one. They're delicious. I would much rather eat a 200-pound black bear than I would a deer because their meat's just a little bit fattier and stuff like that. And you prepare it well, it's tender. I love it. I
mm-hmm.
just haven't killed one in several years.
Oh man, that'll be a fun trip right there. You fill your bear tag, you fill your buck tag all in one sit. You couldn't ask for a better day.
It would have been if that buck would have not walked away.
Oh man,
But
that would
I
have
got
been that would have been sweet.
yeah, that buck taught me a lot through the years of I don't even know what happened to him. Nope. Dang, I keep dropping this, but
You got to get yourself one of those little tripods that
I
you
do,
can.
I do. I had to stop and I got the charger in the base of it, so it makes it uneven and every little time it falls. But I just pulled the charger out. But that
Mm-hmm.
buck taught me a lot. Coolest thing his deer had changed locations. He went from one point down the holler up into another drain, and I'd finally put a pattern on him. I was like, I'm going in to kill him. I hunt the morning, nothing. I walked back to the 4-wheeler for lunch, and that because I wasn't sitting all day at that time. And I go back to the 4-wheeler, and this deer is bedded down looking at the 4-wheeler. And I'm like, I can't hunt a deer that's smarter than me. Like, I get it. Like, some deer, like, we give too much credit, but like, this deer let me walk all the way by him while he's bedded down looking at the 4-wheeler. As soon as I get to the 4-wheeler, he goes, gone. And he run directly underneath my tree stand by my camera away from me. And I never laid eyes on him again.
Isn't that something,
And
man?
that was probably 3 years after that encounter with him on the other side of the ridge, other side of the mountain.
Isn't that something, man? So no, you still got a buck tag for Ohio?
Yes. So West Virginia season has ended except for the urban archery hunt. I could still go up there and whack a couple does and stuff like that, but that I might do that. But my buck tag in Ohio is yet to be filled, and unless there's something on camera tonight, I do not have a mature buck on camera. I've
Oh,
had
I got you.
tons of 3.5-year-old bucks this year that are going to be great bucks. The only big mature buck that I've had on multiple properties that we've been running cameras on got killed first part of November, and he ended up being way bigger than I realized he was, or I would have tried to hunt him earlier in the season. He
No
was one of those
kidding.
bucks that just he looked great, but I'm like, man, that deer could blow up next year. He's got 6 points over here on this side and 4 or 5 on the other side. I thought he's probably 140s now. He was way bigger than that. So I
Did you know
definitely
the guy that shot it?
so funny story. I did not know the individual that shot him because I didn't know it was dead until I was at we call it care groups, like small group for a church setting. And one of the couples there, I'm friends with, this girl, she shows me a picture of her dad with this big old buck that he killed. I'm like, she pulls that deer out and she's all excited and she just broke my heart. And I said, he killed my buck. I was like, where does he live? Because like, no, I didn't know anybody else. I didn't know anybody that I didn't know hunted in that area. And come to find out, he just lives like on the other side of the property, just, I don't know, 500 yards away, straight line. And that buck basically came right back down into to right behind his house where he lived at, and he shot it, the biggest buck he's ever killed. And there's been nothing come through that property since. Like, I don't know what's up with it.
Oh
So,
man, it's kind of it's always fun to like when a property goes silent because I have a trail camera setting up in northern, just about 2 hours north of here, and I've had zero hits on it. I even put out a mock scrape using my buddy's Lucky 7 cents, it hit a couple times in the rut, but it's been dead. The camera has not had any activity for it, and every once in a while I get a random picture of just nothing. So it's like, well, the bears didn't eat it, so that's a win. Or didn't
yeah, I
destroy it.
mean, I'm getting photos. I'm getting tons of deer. Like in West Virginia, I've probably had 4 solid shooters on camera this year. Just
Hmm.
couldn't get down there to capitalize on it due to work.
Yeah.
Um, I was working a rotational schedule, and we'd be on a week, off a week, and get some time off. And then during the rut, I got sick. I stayed sick for like 3 or 4 weeks and just didn't get to
Ooh,
hunt.
man, you got sick for that long, man. That sucks. You get
Yeah.
walking pneumonia or something?
I don't know. Like I went and got a COVID test, wasn't COVID, didn't have pneumonia, didn't have a strep. And it was one of those, I wasn't sick enough that I couldn't get out and do stuff. But as soon as I would get up, I'd start coughing and I'm like, I can't get out in the woods. So I spent a few days on the couch. But other than that, like I wasn't dying. I was just too sick to go out and hunt and enjoy that hunt. Cause as soon as I get in the cold weather, as soon as I'd start getting active, I'd start coughing and stuff. And it lingered on for like 3 or 4 weeks
Ooh.
and like a really annoying cough too, because it just wouldn't go away. And finally it subsided. And I was able to get a little bit of time to hunt. And my bonus son was able to kill that buck in Ohio.
Yeah, that's pretty fantastic. I know you got meat in the freezer, so it's not like it's not a necessity to put meat in the freezer.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my bonus son's keeping us fed. That's for sure.
Yeah, that is cool. So now, does your wife like venison too?
No, she just assumed never eat meat. She'll eat it occasionally, but at the end of the day, like if I make it and there's nothing else to eat, she'll eat it, but she's not going to ask for it ever. But he loves it. I love it. I love to share it with friends and stuff like that. We had a Christmas party here the other day, and I was able to so I killed a wild boar. I did do that in
Yeah, I
West
saw
Virginia.
that on your Instagram feed.
So when I do tacos, I'll take a 2-to-1 mixture with um, venison burger, and then then the half of it will be wild boar sausage, and
Ooh,
I'll cook
yum.
those separate, mix it together, and it makes for delicious tacos because you don't have to season the sausage. The sausage is already seasoned. You
Yeah.
season your venison um, burger with regular taco seasoning, and then you mix in whatever kind of sauce and stuff like that you want to go on with a taco. But man, it always turns out great. So I got to share that with some friends and stuff like that. So anytime I get a chance, I love to do that.
Oh, definitely. This was the only year I didn't actually prepare because usually for New Year's Eve I usually do a game feed, and my
Mhm.
smoker quit on me here back at Thanksgiving. I was 8 hours in on a prime or not a prime rib, but brisket, and it quit on me. So after doing some troubleshooting, we figured out it's the control panel of it. But my wife didn't want me to prepare anything like that because I had to tear it all apart. Not like I couldn't have, but I normally always do that. But I haven't got a doe or deer this year, so it's like I had to be a little stingy with it, so I didn't prepare a deer meat. So because I'm doing in July because HHA just released their schedule. So July 7th through the 9th is the Toma Warren shoot here in Wisconsin. It's my home club. But that Friday is I usually put on a whole spread. And last year I fed 11 guys, 12 guys. And so this year I'm hoping to hit like 15, 16 guys to feed them all and stuff like that. So I have some friends of mine coming in from Sioux Falls to shoot the event too, just because it's close. And then I'm going to go do a mountain archery fest.
Really? So yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to get into some of the mountain archery, the tag stuff.
Well, if you
Um,
could fly into La Crosse and you can just ride with me the rest of the way,
there you go.
because this way because it's going to be a group of four of us. We already got the hotel booked. The hotel is already booked, paid for, so that's the best part. And it's only like 5-6 miles away from it. We're going to Beaver, Utah. It's going to be
Wow.
gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
a
it's a
lot.
it's 22-hour drive one way for me, but I'm gonna take off that Thursday night. I'm gonna drive to Sioux Falls, hang out with the guys there. We're gonna leave at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then make that leapfrog all the way out to Utah from there, driving through Colorado and stuff like that, all the way down there.
That's a long trip, buddy. But at
Oh
least you got
yeah.
people to share it with. Like trying to do a solo. Like I drove out to Montana one year, and you just get your own schedule. Like I'm not the type of person. It's like I'm going to do it all in one day. I'm just going to drive until I'm tired, chill out, take a break, drive some more. So like those long trips are rough.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, especially on top of that too, you get an OWI for that too here in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like if you're driving, if you're at like 16, 17, if you're more than 12 hours driving, you can get charged with that. That's why big rigs, they have those computer shut off stuff like that
Yeah.
where they'll shut your rig down. So this way you don't have those issues. Because there'll be
Yeah.
people out
So
there getting spun out on methamphetamines or some type of an upper, and they'll pull in 16, 18 hours. Like Tracy Morgan, the guy that hit him, 16 hours on the road.
Yeah,
How he
I
managed to
mean,
do it over in New Jersey, it beats me. But man, that messed Tracy Morgan's life up big time.
oh, absolutely. That's funny. I was just listening to one of his stand-ups, so like a little small clip of it, yesterday or this morning, maybe even.
Uh huh. So
So
yeah, that's going to be in June. If you want the details, man, and you can book everything from there. You can fly if you fly out to Rochester or La Crosse or whatever, and come on out. You can ride with me. So this way we could first 4 hours, or first 4 hour, 5 hours, excuse me. I'll have somebody with me, and then I'll introduce you to all these guys, and we're going to be doing a podcast on the way out. We're probably going to record several podcasts on the way out there. My buddy Ben, he's from Sodak Horizon. He's bringing his camera out there, bringing my cameras out there too. So it's going to be a big media frenzy too. We're
that'll be
also going to hang out with the the gentleman that created Mountain Archery Fest too as well. We're going to get him on the podcast, so it's gonna be a fun trip.
that sounds pretty good, man. Like probably not going to be able to make plans to do that this year, because I'm working for myself right now, but like the goal is to go back to work. Like I don't think right now like the money that I'm making doesn't match the lifestyle that I want. So like I need another income, because I'm used to that. But like I plan on going back to work, but I'm a terrible passenger because I sleep the whole time. Like I'm the worst passenger because I'm like 30 minutes into it. I'm like nodding my head and I'm done.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I can sleep all day long in the vehicle. If it's moving, I'm still like a little kid.
that's the best part too. Well, I'm a good driver, so I could play. I've driven where I've had a complete vehicle full of people, and all three of them are passed out.
No, that's me. Like I can either be the driver or I can be the sleeper. Either there's not much in between.
Man, so it sounds like we're gonna have a really busy, fun year because I got all the shoots. We got that going on. The R100. They got two events
Yeah.
in July, I believe, or is it June? Because they got because Reinhardt is based here in Wisconsin, so they're gonna have their R100 in Sparta, which is 10 miles away from me, which is great, easy drive. And then I also have the R100 in Iowa. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that because I think I have a conflicting with that. But I got a bunch of things on my plate this year. That's just going to be another. Last year was a lot of fun. This year's going to be even better. My wife wants to plan a trip to incorporate archery when we go there because with being a brand ambassador for Lakewood, it's like, well, why not do something with archery and just have some fun with it? Because my daughter shoots, and it'd be just a good thing. We took her to the R100, so might as well do it again. But we have it's the thing that's it's just unfortunate is that Bowfest is their big country music slash archery thing.
Yeah.
They only have a bunch of big vendors in, but it's also the same week of Beast Mode Archery where it's like it's extremely challenging. We're going up and down the bluffs and stuff like that, shooting stuff. I had a blast last year. Me and my buddy, we did it. Our day started off at 4 o'clock in the morning. We didn't get home. We didn't get home until 1 o'clock because we stayed after and do a after dark shoot. And so it's like there's no lights on the course. You can only use your flashlight to illuminate the target, and that's it. And then you had to dial it all in and stuff like that, try to hopefully hit it and stuff. It was an absolute blast, and it's a scramble, so you don't know who your partner is going to be. And then first two positions pay out. I think the first team that took first place, they got a set of vector arrows, and then after that was cash payout. So it was a blast. But I tell you what, though, it's like we got our asses kicked. Even First Form was there too as well. So that was really nice. They weren't even sponsored. They were invited. They drove all the way up there with their big old. It's like an F650, just absolute massive
Right.
of a tank, and that's what they use for promotions. And Jake from First Forum, he's going to be on the podcast too. I've talked to him a few times since then, and he's just a wealth of knowledge, a great human being. So I think he started his own podcast too, but he has First Forum Outdoors, and he started that up and didn't know if he's going to get permission from it. He's been on a few podcasts so far, but every time I listen to him, it's like he's just got this aura about him where you just want to sit down and just listen to him talk because he's just a wealth of it. And he's a local Wisconsin boy too.
There's a lot of good things that's come from Wisconsin through the years in the hunting industry.
Oh, definitely, especially my little mecca of the run. We have Predator Camo, we have Tacticam, we have Nose Jammer. That's just a few of them here. We have SS strings here locally. Then we have A3 archery strings. They're only I don't know about an hour drive from me, and it's not an easy drive too. It's like it's twists, turns, ups and downs. It's just but absolutely beautiful bluff country.
Hmm.
And I know Brent is going to be out there at uh, ATA show as well.
Yeah.
He'd be a fun guy to talk to as well about stuff like, because he's only been in the business for 3 years, and everybody shoots his strings. Anybody in the archery world shoots his strings, because the way he developed his process is just remarkable. Then you also have Bloodline. They make their additive to the strings, stuff like that. So this way, there makes them waxless, so you don't have to worry about waxing them.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh, it's just interesting guy.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So, anyways, man, we've talked a lot of conversation. We're a little over an hour and a half into the whole process here. I want to say thank you for everybody tuning in on Instagram and YouTube and everything. And make sure you go and follow our pages and subscribe and open up a tab and just stream our content in the background until I hit 4,500 hours.
Hey, I'm working from home now, bud, so I might as well just tune into the channel and get all those hours for you. How's that?
There we go. Yeah, that's what I do too. I might as well do that too, because the unique thing about YouTube is you can have your channel logged in, but you can have your channels being streamed on multiple devices, because the way YouTube works is they count per device. So I could be streaming YouTube on my cell phone, on my laptop, on my other laptop, on my TV, and it all counts towards that overall end goal.
There you go. Start making money.
You cook your own books. It's just getting the subscribers is the tricky part.
And all those trips that you're getting ready to take, those are all tax deductions. All those mileage write-offs and all those hotels. Like, that's the cool part about turning something that you enjoy and is a very expensive hobby into a business, because it's all tax deductions.
That's exactly right. So, anyways, Cameron, give us some details. Anything we missed?
Nah, man, I've got a fun year ahead of me. Got a lot going on. I'm looking forward to the growth. Probably the biggest thing we didn't talk about is Bucks, Bulls, and Bears.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah, you mentioned it. So let's wrap it up with Bucks, Bulls, and Bears.
So Bucks, Bulls, and Bears was owned by Bernie Behringer, and he's an outdoor writer.
Okay.
He was getting up there in age, and I reached out to him this year, and just so happened he was interested in selling it. So what I bought was an outdated website, but it's an email newsletter that contains like educational information, entertainment value, and things like that for just the hunting community. So I've added a lot to that. I've got a large email list, like 400,000 subscribers. Like,
wow, that's amazing.
So like, it's a huge asset to have for a business owner, but it's very costly to maintain. It costs me a lot of money each month to do. That's one reason why I quit my job, just so I can get enough sponsorship, because I don't have none of that stuff transferred over. But what I've been able to do with this email newsletter is basically just build some entertainment, provide some educational content as well, have a subject in line, like for the time of season, time of year, base that content on that product. I've had a lot of success with it. I mean, I'm still growing it. It's not been like the primary focus, but I'm really looking forward to what I can do with that and in different channels as well. So that's going to be a major focus for me, just so I can make enough money with that email newsletter to pay for itself. Like, it doesn't have to be profitable, because I can market hunting gear deals through that as another advertising stream, but I do need to break even. So that's one of my biggest reasons this year, is for stepping away from the day job to land enough advertising and networking skills through the next couple of months to see if I can make this work. I can always put a hold on that and stop the expenses from coming, but at the end of the day, like, it's a fun thing. It's not one of those situations where you get spam. Like, hunting gear deals, like, I got to be careful with it, because I'm sending out an email each and every day, and I try to slow that down as a deal slow. Like, instead of doing it 7 days a week, I might cut it down to 4 days a week on the off season, because the deals just aren't as good. But with this one here, I can be really detailed. I can go into depth. Like, one of the cool things that I want to do is incorporate podcast episodes into it. So if I have a subject for that week, maybe it's buck beds or something like that, 5 or 6 different podcast episodes or blogs devoted to hunting around or scouting buck beds and stuff like that. So
So
as a
that
way to
was that
network.
was part of that email you sent me. Then was scheduling
Exactly.
stuff. Okay, all right, because it's like it was beautifully worded and stuff like that. But it's like I wasn't quite sure what the clear message is. Like, well, fuck, we need to talk about this because ATA is coming up. It's
Yeah.
like that's why I want. That's why like when do you want to do this? Because it's like you're the first podcast I've had on for first guest in 6 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, Thanksgiving. Oh, Thanksgiving was. Let's see here. My last one was Stuart Holmes, which was a fantastic podcast, and it was a great guest. But then my father-in-law got sick. We were down with that for a week, and then I just haven't been in the mood for it. Then holidays hit, and so I've just kind of put the podcast on a back burner. But I got to get back in the string of things because otherwise you get too long into your laziness and it becomes a comfort zone and a habit. You got to break it. So I got myself some work to do. So when we're done with this, I can start programming and doing that. Because my biggest thing is getting those constant posts, and it's like I got to do the same thing. I got to maintain that discipline, and I got to do like what a lot of the greats do is schedule this stuff out and organize your days so this way you spend like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And you this way it's like you could be distracted, but that alarm goes off. It's like I need to schedule a post.
Yeah. So like the good thing with like business suites and stuff like that, you can do that, but like Instagram, and unless you figured it out, like I can't figure out how to schedule stuff through Instagram. So
You can't even some
it's
of
just
the
pain.
outside programs that are available to scam. You can't either because it's like they'll put in a queue and you have to go and initiate it all yourself. So
Exactly.
I
Like you
think
got it
it's
there, but it's still you got to go and push the button.
yeah, and I think that's the reason why they do it because I mean all apps want your eyes in that app. So this way you can spend as much time as possible in there because you get their ad revenue and such. And how everything has been moving towards TikTok and stuff like that, we're starting to see like Facebook is now the MySpace, Instagram is now the Facebook, and then you got Snapchat, which is the Vine, which is going to eventually die. But you never know. We just heard that Twitter CEO Elon Musk is thinking about bringing back Vine too as well to compete
Really.
with TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, there's always room for more. I wish we, and as a hunting community, had a better platform that doesn't censor us.
Hmm.
I thought last year that Jack tagged their stuff the way they talk, like that was going to be the platform that helped us. Go Wild's been good, but it's still just not caught on within the community enough because you still want to have the reach of non-hunting communities and
Hmm.
news and stuff like that. So like we're really kind of in a bind, and we just keep losing and losing and losing more ground. So until our hunting community has a resource that we can use for socializing, like a Facebook or Instagram at that level,
Hmm.
it makes it just more difficult every year.
Yeah, and at least the nice thing is with Twitter, we're starting to see these censorships starting to lighten up because I know who was it? I think if it's correct, Donald Jr. Trump Jr. is this CEO of Twitter. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but
Really?
yeah. So it's like, but they're starting to bring back. I mean, Elon gave Trump his Twitter handle thing, gave him back his Twitter handle, and he started giving back all of the conservative content creators. So we're starting to see Twitter become a free market again, or a nice what's what I'm looking for, a town square for people to start talking and stuff like that again, and start getting this information because now we're going to start seeing all of the opinions and other practitioners that have been silenced because of all of what's been going on, and we're starting to see the beginning of the Grand Awakening. Because I don't know about you, but church attendances have been going up.
Yeah. So that's my bonus son. He just got home from church. They got their youth group and stuff like that. So I'll go check and see how that went tonight. But my Twitter usage is 10x probably since Elon Musk bought it. I didn't use Twitter at all, and I don't post on it. I just go there for information now because it's got a little bit more freedom of speech. So
Hmm. Yeah, you're able to get all versions. You get AP, you can get the false, the fake news, and you also get crowdsourced information where people are like they're on scene in the areas that we're supposed to be at war with in a whole process.
yeah, I mean it's good to see both sides of it. I mean, there's rights and wrongs in all of it, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
as long as it be even.
oh, definitely. And then the biggest thing is like it's interesting watching like our the bigger mouthpiece like was it Andrew Tate because he's been creating this whole it's like he's trying to bring back the testosterone filled men again, and talk about taking care of yourself and becoming better. And then he got arrested this week, but all it was is he just got swatted. But see, the thing is that he understands that in the real world, and by when we play by certain people's rules, he is gonna if they want to arrest him, they'll figure out a way to trump him up on charges. Like I was watching a gal on TikTok, dude. She was talking about her and her husband. They own a real estate company out in California, or out west someplace, and they're working with Amazon, and they're going to be closing $100 million deal. Well, Amazon was trying to get out of it, so they're basically trying to buy a felony from the FBI.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the game they're playing. So at least we understand that it's a very rigged game in a sense. But she's gone on, like, now, since the lawsuits all been taken care of and such. They're talking about it now, and they're talking about how they're trying to get screwed out of it. And it's basically the only way Amazon could get out is unless the company was able to, the CEO or whatever, got a felony. And yeah, it fell through. But the thing is, like, Amazon, some of their biggest execs are FBI agents.
Did not know that. Did not know that.
And Amazon has some of the biggest. So I'm looking for some of the biggest server farms that own a lot of data and stuff like that too. So they're big incorporated. And also, I was listening to Joey Diaz on Joe Rogan, and he was talking like Joey Diaz has a friend of his that he's being arrested because of stuff being said over his Alexa and his Echo and stuff like that. Yeah. Because they're spying devices. It's Big Brother at its finest. Sure. So, but he didn't list a case or whatever may be happening. But yeah, he's going to jail.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm thankful I don't have one in my home.
Yeah.
But I do have this fancy phone that I feel like watches me all the time.
It does. At least with Samsung, you can go in and you can go into developer mode, and you can turn on a system a service on there where you can what's it called? Sensors off. And what it does is it shuts off everything. It shuts off microphones. It shuts off the camera and stuff like that. So it's like if I go to make a phone call, and then that's on, I can't place a phone call. I have to turn that off. So this way Verizon can listen to me.
Crazy world we live in, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a couple people on YouTube. It's Tech Savvy. I can't remember his handle name on YouTube, but he got tons of content out there, but he teaches you how to use your phone and like how to clean up the cache and all different things that you wouldn't know how to do. But it's a tutorial guide. They're only, I don't know, 30 seconds to a minute long. Great tech tips and stuff like that. So anyways, my friend, that's congratulations on getting Bucks, Bulls, and Bears and turning that into a money-making machine for you.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope it turns into a money-making machine.
And the best part is all of our podcasting gear, like all of the friends that I have, we have trackable matrices. So it's like when you start asking for us to develop content, we'll be able to provide you those matrices and let you know, like, hey, this is what we're seeing from this, to be able to provide you an insight for it. It's like, so how's it doing for your podcast? How's it doing for this one? And so on and so forth.
Yeah, and I can track clicks directly through the email server. So like
Very
when
true.
I go in, I can see exactly where people are going, and it's surprising how much outbound traffic that it actually gets. I mean, right now, like there's 100,000 people seeing every email that I send out.
Oh,
because
that's
your
awesome.
your open rates they're never going to be 100% but that's part of it. But they're consistently at the 25% mark, and for this industry, like this is a strong asset for within the industry.
Oh man, exactly, dude. Well, it was always a fun chat with you, Cam. So what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Check me out at huntinggeardeals.com.
There you go, guys, and find him on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Oh, you're on TikTok, are you?
I don't have a business TikTok yet, so
Okay.
like I might get that one day. Catch up. I'm usually late.
Yeah. What about Twitter? You said you've been using it. Do you have a Twitter
I
handle?
do. I think it's like Deer Deal or Deer Deals or something like that. It'll have the same kind of icon as like Instagram and stuff like that. It'll have.
Definitely. And as always, those who are on YouTube, I will be posting his channel in the chapter tile on there, so you can click on it and go over to his content as well. And then also put the huntinggeardeals.com in. I think it's actually in my link tree now. I believe I put it back in there, so this way people can go on to it. I think it is. I know I've made some additions to it. I even got Turning Feral. That this is a author, my first author on the podcast, published hardbound, and his name's Zachary Craig Hansen, and he is out of Idaho, and we talk about his journey through it, and his book represents a lot of that too. But his book is in my link tree as well, so you can go buy a copy of his book. So it'd be fantastic to go support him, go support Cameron, and everybody else that supports my podcast, such as Lakewood Case. I do have a code for free shipping, so that'll be listed there as well. And also go check out VIP, Mountain Man Archery, Real People Giving, and obviously our good friends at HHA USA.